Hi, this is Rob Polenick of Brutal Iron Gym. Today's workout was back. I started with a seated one arm pull down, specifically with my elbow tucked, and I did a very slow controlled movement for both the eccentric and concentric. The eccentric is when the working muscle is extending, the concentric is when the working muscle is contracting. By controlling both phases and adding a pause at the bottom, I could really feel my lower lat connection engage and pull and contract through the movement. I'm wanting to target the lower lat with this exercise. If I move at a faster pace, my upper lat tends to take over. It'll take more of the stress. So slowing the pace down, adding that pause at the bottom is a good technique that you can use to better isolate the lower lat if you want to do that movement specifically for the lower lat. Now, if you actually want to get the upper lat up by your armpit, you can move at a little bit of a faster pace and not focus so much on driving that elbow down at the bottom. So that same position, the same exercise, just a little bit of a change in how you execute it can change where you focus the muscle stress. After that, I did both arms together and I did a seated pull down with a pause with a handle around like my chin and nose height. For that one, I started with 2 sets of like a narrower grip and then 2 sets with a wide. The narrower grip kind of hits the inside edge of the lats underneath where the shoulder blades are, and then the wider grip hit more along the outer portion of the lats. So between those 2 exercises, and the second exercise was 2 different grips, I was able to target the lower, the upper inside, and the outer lat. So I was very happy with that. I then went into an extreme stretch seated row. With this, I was wanting to not only target the middle of my back, which would be specifically the lower traps, rhomboids, and mid trap. I also wanted to kind of open up and stretch the lats so that way I just wouldn't recover between workouts as tight. And that stretch when the muscle's already pumped is a good way to just continue muscle stress. So it was a little bit of a lat stressor and opener. However, that position, especially with the narrow hands and pulling back to where my thumbs were getting close to or touching my rib cage, that is actually going to target the rhomboids, lower traps, and mid traps. So it targets that like dead spot in the middle of your back so you can get a nice thicker, more bumpy and detailed upper back. Then after that, I finished with a circuit, a superset of a variation, a weird variation of a reverse fly. It's a weird exercise, but I find a very good contraction with it in my lower traps, rhomboids. So what you'll see in the video is I'm having the dumbbells at my thighs and I'm actually angling my hands slightly in a V, and then I'm rounding my upper back. As I would pull the dumbbells apart, almost like I'm doing a reverse fly or a lateral raise, I'm going to upright my chest. So this stretches open the lower traps and rhomboids, and then I squeeze and contract through those same muscles. Do you get a little bit of shoulders? Do you get a little bit of rear delts, a little bit of upper traps? Absolutely. But where I feel it the most is in that dead spot in the middle of the back. It's as soon as you set down the weight, it's like, oh my gosh, it feels like somebody like punched in the middle of the back. Believe it or not, that's actually a good thing. So that is a really good stimulus for me. And I like to think of it similar to like a seal row. If I have a chest supported seal row, you can really isolate and target that mid back. This gives me a very similar feeling. So it's something I can alternate back and forth with seal rows. And then to just pair with that, I did some straight bar bicep curls. I just wanted to add a little bit of blood pump for my biceps. I injured my bicep back in December, and it's healthy and I'm doing crazy fun things, but I still like pushing some blood flow in there just to make sure that tissue stays up with good protein, good blood flow, good recovery. So that way my body remembers, oh, hey, that tissue's still there. Let's make sure it's, as strong as it can be. So I'm just adding that a little bit today just for my own benefit. You don't have to add that if you don't want to. Or you can just add a bunch of bicep exercises and call it a back and bicep day. But I thought this explanation of the exercises I did would be helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section below. If you give the workout a try, I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for watching.